Hello and welcome to Ryno's Ravens review. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. About that time to go over the draft of the Baltimore Ravens. As you can see, I'm on BaltimoreRavens.com. Let's get to the first. Now, this article written by Kyle Phoenix here, and it just says he's a writer. I don't know exactly who he works for, freelance or whatnot, but really all I'm going to use here is just the list of the Ravens draft picks. And we'll go over it here, right here. Round 1, Nate Wiggins, cornerback. Okay. Round 2, tackle. Thank you. Roger Rosengarten. Worried that DeCosta wasn't going to take a tackle in the first round or two, but I'll get to why in a minute. Round 3, edge rusher Adisa Isaac. Round 4, saw 2 picks. Wide receiver Devontae Walker and cornerback TJ Tampa. Round 5, running back Rasheen Ali. Round 6, quarterback Devin Leary. Round 7, 2 more picks, center Nick Samak and safety Sanasi Kane. Hopefully I'm pronouncing those names correctly. Probably not. I probably butcher a lot of people's names. I'm sorry. It's a slight. Now, did address some needs. Now, maybe didn't address them the way I would have gone after that, but at the same time, probably had a few more holes than you would have liked in the Ravens depth chart. Probably weren't going to be able to address them all, because think about how many offensive linemen the Ravens were going to need. Ravens actually did lose Rock Ya-Sin, Ronald Darby, and Geno Stone in free agency. So, did need some more depth in the secondary. So, lost to Davian Clowney, so you were going to need pass rush help. Because, obviously, Owe and Ajabo have been pretty much no-shows. And, I mean, you think about all the other positions. Are you never going to draft another wide receiver or another running back? Quarterback, I mean, I guess I do think maybe a few of those positions, at least between quarterback, running back, and wide receiver, you could have not drafted one of those and gotten a guy later. You would have been able to get a guy to suit this purpose later, because there are so many of them. But at the same time, you do want to get a higher quality guy. So there's that, I guess. I think I would have liked, at least with this wide receiver pick, the running back pick, and the quarterback pick, I would have liked to see you not draft one of them, maybe round 5 and 6 here, instead of drafting a running back. Maybe draft another offensive lineman, because question marks with some of the guys you have already. Ronnie Stanley, okay, he's the starting left tackle. For now, anyway. I think lower body injuries have really plagued him, and regardless of how well, as far as his upper body strength, as well as he can pass block, he's kind of hindered a little bit in his movement because of the leg injury. So, hasn't actually been playing that good, in my opinion, in the past few years. But, I mean, again, a lot of that is due to lower body injuries. So, you drafted a tackle. You still have McCary, which is nice. But then who do you got? Valele? I mean, he looks like a really big and strong dude, but can he move well enough to pass block? I don't know about that one. And then who else is on the depth chart? Well, while this is BaltimoreRavens.com, they don't exactly have their draft chart up yet. So we'll go to ESPN.com and we'll take a look at who else is there. Now, yes, as I mentioned in the other video, they did bring in Josh Jones. This Tykeem Doss, I have no idea who that is. There is Lalu. Very sorry, I cannot pronounce that name. I mean, it's a question. Like, can this person do anything? I don't know, man. I just wouldn't put too much stock in Falele or Lalu doing much of anything, at least at this point, because I haven't seen them play that much, if at all, and I don't know that I liked what I saw out of them to begin with. And I mean, ESPN has this all, I mean, they just put their guys in. They put Roger Rosengarten, the second round draft pick, in there, who's a tackle, played right tackle with Washington. They put him in there left guard. Okay. Rosengarten is playing a tackle position. He's going to play a tackle position. Whether it's right tackle or possibly left tackle, it's going to happen. I don't know what ESPN was thinking here. But okay. I mean, the tackles will be Stanley, Rosengarten, McCary. Now, which two are starting? Is McCary getting rotated in, or will Rosengarten get rotated in? Something that they did last year, the Ravens did last year towards the end of the year. I think it actually worked out okay for him. Usually you would say that rotating your offensive lineman wouldn't be a good thing, but at the same time, why would it not be good? As far as we're told by people in the know, offensive line is a very tight unit, so why could you not have a substitutions? You should be able to substitute relatively easy. Oh, what, the guys won't play well together? Well, if they're a tight group, they'll be able to play together. However you match that up, they will be able to play together. Will they be able to win their matchups? That's a different story. And yes, Ben Cleveland, he's been here for a while. He's gonna have a guard spot. So who gets the other spot? Lalu, maybe. Voorhees. Everybody's talking about this Voorhees guy. DaCosta essentially stashed him from last draft. He was injured, so maybe it was like a fourth or fifth round draft pick that you got in the sixth round, I think. But he was injured and didn't play the whole year. Somebody's got to play guard. Somebody has to. Really, that's the one hole I still see now. But potential that Nick Samick, one of the 7th round draft picks, could play guard. I mean, somebody will be able to play guard here. I don't really want it to be McCary, even though he could play guard, because I'd rather him be available for that extra tackle. Really, swing tackle, I guess is what they call it. So, somewhere between Voorhees or Samick, maybe Lalu. I'd almost like to see Falele play guard because he looks like a big, strong, run-blocking dude. He doesn't look like a pass-blocking tackle, which I think is what the Ravens really need. I think you could play... I mean, you have to play guard. Hey, dude, go that way and run people over. He looks like he could do that. Puzzled about the quarterback selection here, but before I knew that Tyler Huntley actually is not here anymore. I probably should have known that. I probably did know it, just forgot. Actually went to Pittsburgh, that doesn't sound right, but okay. Okay, so did you need a quarterback here? I don't really think so, but apparently you did, which is fine. As far as I'm concerned, I don't think the Ravens have had good luck with drafting quarterbacks in the 5th round and beyond. So, to me, it almost seems like a wasted pick. We'll see about Rasheen Ali. ESPN has him listed as questionable. Like, did he really draft another dude that was injured? Well, probably. That's DaCosta's MO, especially with the later round guys. Draft him injured. Because if they weren't injured, they'd be like a fourth round guy. So, well, you give them time to heal like a year, and it's like you got another third round draft pick. Like, I guess it kind of makes sense, but when you needed to fill as many holes as the Ravens did, I don't know if that makes a whole lot of sense. But, I mean, however, bro. Devontae Walker, I just. It's going to something I mentioned last year. And I do understand you need depth, but at the same time, you have Flowers, Bateman, Aguilar. You did have Tylan Wallace. You signed Hardy to be more of a kick return guy, but that's still 5 guys. I don't know who this Sean Ryan guy is. They got him from somewhere. I guess he's been here. I don't know. I don't know who that is. And then you got 3 tight ends. You got Andrews, Likely, and Kohler. And of course, your fullback, Patrick Ricard. Did you really need another wide receiver? Okay. I think you could have used offensive line more than wide receiver. But again, at least with the wide receiver, the running back, and a quarterback pick, I think at least one of those should have been an offensive lineman. Because if you have a good offensive line, that affects your pass game and your run game. Can you really say that about the quarterback and the running back and the wide receiver that you drafted? Can they affect both? Can they affect the run and the pass game? I don't really think so. But, however, I mean, it's not a terrible draft. I mean, especially, when you get to like the 5th, 6th, and 7th round, it's like, what are you going to get? With the defense, I mean, I think we're going to be okay on defense. You got a lot of big monsters with their hand in the ground. I mean, Matabike, Pierce, Washington, those guys are huge. Bringing back Travis Jones, Brent Urban, they're back. I mean, that's cool. That's great. What you really needed to address was pass rushing. You got Owe and you got, I keep forgetting one of their names, Jabo. It's like, okay, cool. Still haven't really seen the production out of these guys. What? I mean, come on now. So they did address it with Adisa Isaac with their 3rd round pick, re-signing of Van Noy, Trenton Simpson, draft pick from a few years ago, looks to be stepping up in the other inside linebacker spot. Brought Chris Board back, who had left and gone. I don't remember where he went, but he did leave for a few years. So there really wasn't a whole lot to address there because Van Noy in one starting outside position between Owe, Jabo, Isaac, and then you got some of the other guys that are more practice squad guys like Tavares Robinson and Malik Ham there. Somebody's got to be able to do the job, right? Somebody's got to be able to do the job. Van Noy can do the job, but he is getting a little older. He's going to need somebody to rotate in and out with. I mean, another year of Owe and a Jabo. Can y'all do something? Like, what? Hell, I mean, has Jabo even played for this team? He's been here, this will be, his 3rd year? 4th year? Owe's in his, 5th year? Because they just picked up his option, right? Yeah. So Jabo's got to be, his 4th year? Has he played? Because he barely played last year. The year before that, he barely played. And the year before that, he was injured. That was his injury year. I was like, wow. So, I mean, that's kind of the disappointing thing about drafting injured guys. Well, they're not going to play 1 year. If they had enough time off the injury to actually be able to learn how to play in the NFL, or if they had too much time off in that transition period between college and the NFL. Well, we're going to find out this season. They're going to have to do something because Clowney ain't here no more. So, who's your main pass rusher? Kyle Van Noy. Okay, cool. All right. Now, DeCosta has had a habit of late summer signings or late spring, midsummer signings. Has been able to do that and get some kind of quality there. So we'll see how this goes. Cornerback, I was a little disappointed to hear that Darby left. I would have liked the Ravens to sign him or keep him around, but it does seem like they got some value with Wiggins and Tampa, and I promise I would explain that why, and I will get that in a minute. I just kind of went down a rabbit hole going over the draft here. There is some value. There was some value at cornerback to be had. I mean, really, with defense in general, just because, summarize, there were so many offensive guys, you were going to get a few good defensive players, especially late in the rounds. It's probably how the depth chart is going to look. Humphrey, Stevens starting at the corner, and again, really to start. Stevens probably has the job. We'll see. I think Nate Wiggins might actually be a better option to start on the other side and really move Humphrey either back to safety or more inside to a slot corner type role. So I do think the Ravens do a little better in the more nickel package. You can rotate your pass rushing linebackers and your linemen in and out a lot more. And you really don't, at least with Humphrey, because I think he tackles really well for a corner, almost as well as any safety does. You kind of have that there. You bring a little more speed on the field, coverage ability. Don't really sacrifice the tackling ability. Safety depth that's, I think, where they took a hit because who do they really got? They did draft a guy, but, I mean, as you can see here, they only have 3 names between the 2 positions. And that's why I kind of think Humphrey will gradually, if not sooner, rotate into more of a safety. And talk about was it this article? What the hell article? Yeah, I think it was this article here. Look, another article written by Ryan Mink, the editorial director here. And really he explains why there was value in cornerback and why DaCosta went for it. Well, I mean, one of the main reasons that we've noticed this throughout the years, especially with DaCosta at GM, his philosophy is you can never have too many cornerbacks, which is generally true in this age of the NFL with heavy pass offense. So you can never have too much cornerback depth. Now, why he went cornerback number 1 and tackle number 2 was there were so many tackles, right? I mean, and even quarterbacks. I mean, between offensive linemen and quarterbacks, how many were taken in the first round? Like 25? I think there really might have, maybe it was closer to 20, and then like 5 wide receivers. It's kind of where the value was in the draft. So, Nate Wiggins, who in some other years may have been drafted in the top 10 as a cornerback, just simply fell to where the Ravens were picking because so many other people wanted to go for this really good offensive lineman or this really good quarterback or this good wide receiver. So you took the shot. Grab the cornerback there late in the first round, because if you waited to the second round, and Ryan Mink explains this about what DaCosta was thinking, was the value at cornerback was a huge drop-off. So you're almost not even getting a second-round talent. You're almost getting like a third or fourth round talent with your second-round draft pick. You don't really want to do something like that. Now, it wasn't like that with tackle. Because there were so many tackles in the draft, you could wait to set to the second round and really still get a second round talent. But I wonder if am I explaining that correctly? If you'd have went tackle in the first round, yes, you would have gotten your first round talent, but then in the second round, you wouldn't gotten a whole lot from the cornerback, and if that's what you really wanted to draft in the second round. Well, if you flipped it, draft a corner first and then draft a tackle second, more overall quality, which to me makes sense. I didn't really think about it like that, but the way Ryan Mink explains it here made sense to me. Hopefully, I'm making sense to you. And, I mean, the downside is, I think one of the knocks on Wiggins is he big enough to make a tackle? Like, well, I think the Ravens have good enough safeties and linebackers, especially with Roquan Smith. Is it going to matter? I mean, okay, Wiggins can't tackle the guy. Well, he's going to slow him down, and you know what? Wherever on the field, it seems like Roquan's going to chase the guy down, so I'm not too worried. I mean, okay, Mr. Nate Wiggins, you're not a great tackler. That's fine. Roquan Smith is really good at tackling, and we pay him lots of money to do the tackling, so I think we're going to be okay. I'm not that worried about it. I think I'm more worried about in the trenches. I'm worried about blocking for Lamar or Derrick Henry because they can't do it all themselves. They do need a line to do their job, and I'm worried about pass rushing. Yes, the Ravens had a lot of sacks last year, but blitzed a lot. Only works if you can cover on the other side. You can't cover on the back end, and who cares about the blitz? The pressure won't get there. The ball will come out quickly. Which we've seen in the past, well, I mean, with a lot of offenses anyway, the quicker you get the ball out, the better anyway. So, but I do think overall it was good. Very good draft by the Ravens. A little disappointed that, I mean, I guess technically at depth at pass rusher, they do have the depth there. They do have enough people. It's just I haven't seen anything out of Owe and Ajabo, and I've practically written them off. I don't care that Ajabo and Owe are there because as far as I'm concerned, even when they're on the field, they're not actually there because they don't do anything. So that's really why I'm like emphasizing pass rush as much as I have. It's because the job on Owe, I've seen it looks like they got nothing. So what do you got? You got Van Noy and you got this new guy, and we don't even know what this new guy can do. And I emphasize offensive line because I kind of think Ronnie Stanley's done. Way too many lower body injuries. He doesn't look like he moves well. It's just the quality in his play seems to have really declined, and I don't think it's because he is a bad player. I think it's just because his legs have just gone to shit, for lack of a better term. And this is part of a wrap up here, and I mentioned that before, but I am coming to an end of this video. I look for McCary and Rosengarten to get a lot of reps this season at tackle. Whether it's because Stanley actually got injured and isn't there, or because I think they're going to try to rotate in and out to keep Stanley somewhat fresh, or because they realize that they pass block better with McCary and Rosengarten in there. Hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully Stanley will be okay in there. And we'll just have to see what Owe and Ajabo do. I got a sneaky suspicion that this new guy, Adisa Isaacs, is going to outshine both of them. Seems, from what I've read, to have as much skill as Ajabo and Owe did, if not more. I think Owe is a little undersized for the edge rush position. He does rely on speed, but it doesn't seem like he's ever really had... I don't know, he hasn't been able to put it together. Somehow, for some reason. Some guys can do the speed rush, just seem like it's not really working too well for Owe. He's kind of small, I think, for the position he plays. So, I mean, yeah, that's going to do it for this edition of Ryno's Ravens review. Pleasantly surprised, I guess, with the draft. I think I am kind of going with, some of the naysayers out there, we'll call it. And I think the Ravens window might have closed just because it seems like they lost a lot of pieces, too many pieces than you would have liked. Like they had to come all felt like they had to come together last year, and I don't know. Of course, who knows? I don't really do well predicting how well they do. But, I mean, training camp will start here in another month or two, and that's probably when I'll get back into doing the regular videos. So, if you subscribe to this channel, you will be notified when that happens, even though it won't happen for a while. But I do other videos. But please go ahead and hit that like button for me. I am the Angry Ryno. Fly, Ravens, fly.